Hey babes, welcome back to the Boss Babes Guide. I'm Whit.
And I'm Sim.
And today we're going to talk about how you can snag your dream job. I think there's more than one way to skin a cat, so don't let this be the prescription. However, there are a couple things.
And if skinning cats is your dream job, seek help.
Yeah. Well, if skinning cats is your dream job, the good news is there's more than one way, so you're covered. This is something important to me. I feel like we all sort of land in our dream jobs in different ways. Simi and I have both taken very different paths to get to what we feel is the right role for us. Mm-hmm. And so I think it's fun to talk to you about what we've sort of done and hear from you what you guys do. For me, I know when I was living in Chicago before I worked at Children's Hospital, I knew that I wanted to work for a nonprofit. I knew I wanted to work in fundraising, but I just didn't. And I knew I wanted to work at Children's, but I didn't really care what capacity it was. It was my sort of first real big girl job out of school. And I remember interviewing with Children's for like 4 different jobs, and I just kept interviewing with every freaking person there.
Can I stop you really quickly?
Yeah.
What was it about like Children's that you felt like, oh, that's why I want to work there, or like a feeling that you had? Because I feel like that's so important. Like that's the first like kind of check on the list.
Exactly. So I knew that I wanted to work for Children's because I felt really strongly about the mission. Mm-hmm. I knew people that worked there, and I thought they were so freaking amazing at their job. And I was thinking about the long-term scope of like, if I want to be in fundraising, I know that I need to get experience from big, medium, and small nonprofits, and I'd rather start with a big one so that I can see how a really well-oiled machine works, so that later on, when I go to a smaller nonprofit, I can learn how to troubleshoot and be creative and problem solve on a lesser budget, but I can really see what the dream is like. What's the big,
I love that,
sort of budget big role in fundraising?
So really connecting with the mission of the place where you're applying.
Absolutely. Or connecting with the mission of the role, I think, is super key. But I just kept interviewing over and over again for every role that opened up at all at Children's until I met practically every person that worked there. And it was like a running joke that this girl was just interviewing for every job because I was that serious about it. I was like, you know.
They were like, wait, does she work here?
No, pretty much. I was like going to happy hours. They were like, what the shit? Who is this girl? But honestly, I wanted to work there so badly. And I was like, I know that this is what I want. I'm just going to keep interviewing until it's the right role. And I'll tell you what. This has happened to me more than one time in my life where I've interviewed at one place for multiple roles, and I ended up getting the one that I should have gotten, and it wasn't that first one that I interviewed for, the one that I thought I wanted so bad, but the one that was actually right for me down the road. So a little bit of patience for sure.
And being open.
Absolutely. Absolutely. I think too, finding the person that embodies what you want to be, like finding that mentor is so key. And if you don't have one, it's not like you can go up and down the street and be like, would you like to be my mentor? What do you do with yourself? But you know, thinking about, you know, who in the industry, who in my industry does what I want to do or does what we do really, really well. Set up a coffee with them. Try and get to know them. I mean, I think naturally mentorship occurs whenever you have a great working rapport with someone, but you know, they don't have to necessarily work where you work. They could be, you know, someone in a completely different spinoff, but might be able to help you hone in on what you're made to do, I guess.
Totally.
Simi, your path was different.
Yeah, so my path, I went to law school, and I never thought I was going to be an attorney. I studied sociology before, and I thought, ooh, I'll do like some policy work. I was really interested in how like gender roles play into social stratification, so I thought, okay, I'll go to law school, I'll learn about policy, and then maybe do like some kind of policy work. I wasn't exactly sure what that career looked like, but I figured law school was like a logical next step. So I went to law school, and then I ended up getting a job during my 3rd year to move from Chicago back to Columbus to be a litigator. I was awful at litigation. And it was like the worst fit for me ever. So I would show up at work and I would feel like I was trying so hard, and literally like the harder I tried, like the worse that it got. So they transitioned me into a corporate role in the healthcare group where it was like it was a much better fit for my personality and my skill set, and I was able to do a good job as a healthcare attorney. And once I had kind of gotten the hang of it and I wasn't just like terrified every day going into work, I had one of those moments where I was like sitting in my office and I thought like, what now? And I couldn't feel any kind of connection with the long-term like goals of that role. And I looked around and saw really, really successful attorneys doing the job that I was doing, but maybe 10, 20, 30 years down the line. And even though I respected them and thought they were doing an amazing job, I didn't want to be them. And so that was like a big wake-up call, because at that point I had no idea what I wanted to do. Mm-hmm. So I started to look at my own life and my own struggles and the things that I had learned and the things that I had overcame and where my passions were. And I realized that I was just really passionate, one, about like working with women, lifting women up. I was really passionate about nutrition and health and wellness. And I was really passionate about having like healthy emotions and emotional communication.
Yep.
And through working with my own health coach, and I'm always working with a coach like on my own.
Yeah.
I started my blog to sort of explore that more, and then the blog was really fun, and so I decided to go back to school at night. And it really all happened totally organically, but it was never part of the plan. And then when I started health coaching, I was like, oh my gosh, this is it. I love this so much. And I felt like there was a shift from like wondering when my life was going to start to like waking up and being like, oh my God, I'm like living my life. This feels so good.
Yeah.
And so I don't know that my career will always look the way that it does today. Knowing my personality, I think it probably won't. But I do know that I'm really in touch with my intuition now and really open to opportunities as they come up and allowing it to change organically. And so I think that the things for me were just like looking at people who are doing what you're doing down the line and saying like, is that
my goal?
Yeah, is that my goal?
Yeah.
And if it's not, then just exploring the things that you're passionate about and allowing those to, maybe take whatever form they might take. And like be open to the fact that you can be really passionate about your career. Those two things can come together.
Yep.
If you if you just like are willing to explore it.
Yeah. And I think being tenacious is so important. Like if you know what the end goal is for yourself, don't just sit around and wait for that to happen. Like do everything you can to make that happen. I think meeting the people who will help you, expand your reach in your job, people who will help encourage you and teach you the things that they've learned along the way. Or if you're not in the right role, being tenacious about finding the job that's in the field or in the direction of where you want to go. I mean, of course, you're not just going to, the day you graduate from college, be hired to be a CEO of some whatever. But have you picked the right path to help you get to that point? And if you haven't, then saying, okay, what can I take from this experience, translate that into a desirable skill for the role that I know I want, and then go after that and get it for sure.
Totally. And be willing to do like unpaid things that connect with your ultimate goal. Because if you're really passionate about it, it will feel okay to do something that isn't paid. Like, having a blog or setting up coffee, like dates and lunches and stuff with people who interest you, volunteering maybe with like a certain organization or in a certain field, just doing those more like free time things to explore that and see if it really is something that would make you happy.
And that fulfills you too from a personal level. And there's nothing that makes you feel better at doing something that you want to do and something that you're good at for someone else, and seeing that benefit come through. So definitely. Go out and get your dang dream job, girl.
We want to hear from you guys. What are your dream jobs? Are you doing them now? Just like think really big and share them with us.
Yeah, I mean, you have to have become a boss babe somehow. So tell us how you got there.
Yeah.
Bye, babes.
See ya.